Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michael, this is Pokeoz, and today's video is all about the newest English set coming out next month, Paradox Rift. Please let me know down in the comments below, what are your thoughts about the initial look at the set? Are you keen for it? Are you keen to buy up some booster boxes, some elite trainer boxes? Are you keen to rip some open? What's your biggest chase from the set? What we're going to do essentially in this video, I'm going to go through all the singles from the set, looking at, of course, the main, the commons, uncommons, and rares, going through the trainers, of course, then getting to the illustration rares, the special illustration rares, the supporter cards, the gold stars, the full arts, you name it. We'll have a look at them all, and because this is an investing channel, towards the end of the video, I want to put a bit of an investing spin on Paradox Rift, where I see it sitting. Now, keep in mind, this is the 5th English set to come out this year. We've had Scarlet and Violet Base, we've had Paldea Evolved, we've had Obsidian Flames, we've had Scarlet and Violet 151, and next month we're straight on to Paradox Rift. It feels like the last 3 come out really, really quickly, like Obsidian Flames just come out, then Scarlet and Violet 151 just come out, and now, all of a sudden, this has just come out, Paradox Rift. Is it a bit of overkill? Is 5 too many? Last year, though, we had 6 English sets come out, so... yeah, they're pumping it out. You'd love to be the owner of Pokemon Company International. You'd be making an absolute killing, I would imagine. Anyway, what to look for in Paradox Rift? We're, of course, going to have a booster box. We're going to have 2 elite trainer boxes. There'll be a Pokemon Center elite trainer box. There'll be booster bundles, which has proven to be really popular throughout Scarlet and Violet era. There'll be a build and battle kit. There'll also be a build and battle stadium. There'll be a 3-pack blister. There'll be single boosters in shops. There'll be single blisters in shops. There'll no doubt be some sort of, or a few collection boxes, which will focus on Paradox Rift promos, but also Paradox Rift packs, and then a few other, probably Scarlet and Violet packs inside there. So, you know, this is a normal run-of-the-mill set. It's not a holiday set. This is your normal set. Expect booster boxes. Expect it to be printed fairly readily, I'd imagine. You should be able to pick them up pretty easily. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump in and have a look at the set. Let's start off by cruising through the main set plus the trainers. Now, one thing that always seems to escape people is everyone gets really, really super focused on the hyper rares, or in this case, geez, I've even forgotten what we call them now. I mean, art rares or illustration rares, and then we go to special illustration rares or special art rares. I guess they're called illustration rares these days, but everyone gets so fixated on, you know, what are the gold cards? What are the special illustration rares? What are the illustration rares? And we forget to sometimes just settle in and have a look at what the artwork looks like on the main set cards. And that's one thing that I paid particular attention to during Scarlet and Violet 151 or Pokemon 151 is because it was a throwback to the original 151 Pokemon. And forgive me for talking through it, it's just have a look at the cards. What I'm getting at is have a look at the artwork, and I know I'm going through quickly, but have a look at the artwork on some of the cards. So one thing I wanted to pay particular attention to during Pokemon 151 is actually going, well, hey, look, this is the original 151 Pokemon. This is the ones that we grew up on watching the show. Let's just check out the artwork throughout the main set. Because one thing is, you just forget about it, and you forget, you know, just as much effort goes into a common or an uncommon or a regular rare than what goes into creating an illustration rare. It's the same process. You've still got to design the card. You've still got to illustrate the artwork. You've got to give all those Pokemon time in the sun. So as I'm scrolling through, just take note of some of the artwork in this set. Like, it always surprises me. Hats off whoever designs and creates and illustrates these cards, because they always do such a fantastic job. Now, I know I might sound like a broken record saying, you know, the artists always do such a fantastic job, and there's not really much to write home about throughout the common, uncommon, and regular rare set. But that's all you can really do sometimes, is appreciate the artwork, because a lot of the times it just gets left behind. I think there'll be some good competitive play cards in here while we're scrolling through, especially some of these trainers offering some good mechanics. I haven't played much of the competitive scene for quite some time, but I can always appreciate. I'm more into playing Magic the Gathering at the moment, but anyway. So now we're getting into what people really want to see, and that is the illustration rares. I suppose, for lack of a better word, for me it feels like the illustration rares have taken over from rainbow rares, as in it's that rare spot, and then the special illustration rares have taken over from the alternate arts throughout the Sword and Shield era. So if we look at illustration rares, I think these are a stronger pickup or a stronger hit than what a rainbow rare is. A lot of people disliked rainbow rares. Some people love them. For me, I could give or take them. If it was a cool Pokemon like the Rainbow Pikachu from Vivid Voltage or the Rainbow V-Star Charizard from Brilliant Stars, I thought sweet card. But a lot of them were a bit lackluster. But scrolling through here, like the Magby was a beautiful looking card. The Mantine is a beautiful looking card. That Minilum Pluzle I stopped on before is also a beautiful looking card. Probably my favourite standalone illustration rare from Paradox Rift is that Groudon. It's giving, similar to that Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved, it's giving those sort of Godzilla vibes, isn't it? Manshao and Yveltal. I love the colour that's coming out of Yveltal. That is a really, really sweet looking card. But this one is my pick. The Steelix is, just look at the artwork on that Steelix. That is one hell of a cool looking card. I actually really, really like that card. Apom, Loudred, to name a couple of more. There's just some really nice illustration rares in this set. Now, the full arts and trainers, these are also getting a fair bit of time in the sun. Now, these aren't going to be your special illustration rare full art trainers. These are just what they call, I suppose, the regular full art trainers, but some of these are even going for pretty big dollars in a lot of the latest Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield sets. So nothing wrong with these, but I think the two, I suppose, big hitters, for lack of a better word, in your regular full art / trainers is going to be things like that Mila and Tulip, and I'll show you in a second in the special illustration rares and supporters, they do pick up some even bigger I suppose, chase cards, for lack of a better word, some bigger chase cards in that special illustration rare spot. But check them out here. They're great looking cards. I've never been the biggest fan of just full art Pokemon. I do love what they're doing with the illustration rare, special illustration rare, and in Sword and Shield era, the alternate art. I think they well and truly trump the full art cards. But there we go. There's a bit of a look at them. Now, this is where the magic happens. I feel this is the new alternate art spot. This is the special illustration rares. And we've got supporters and also gold cards down the bottom. The Garchomp, I think, is a really, really nice looking card. Roaring Moon EX seems to steal the thunder throughout this set, and the special illustration rare of this card is brilliant. It's going to be really, really hard to pick what is the number one chase card in this set, and I'll get to that more in a second when I talk about the investability of this set. The Mila and Tulip, again in special illustration trainer form, amazing looking cards, and I expect these to come out of the gate hot in terms of a price point. They're going to be something like, you know, an Erica's Invitation, so to speak, from Scarlet and Violet 151. I can definitely see these two cards, plus your Roaring Moon EX and maybe your Garchomp, the special illustration rares, coming out of the gate hot with some high prices. That gives us a first-hand look at the full set list of English latest set, Paradox Rift. The big question that comes to mind for me is, what's the main chase card in this set? Like, when you're missing Charizard or Umbreon or Rayquaza or Dragonite or any evolution or Mewtwo, like any big hitting chase card, so to speak, Gengar, like, you know, there's probably 20 others I could reel off, but those big hitters that typically come out, like your Gengar in Fusion Strike, your Umbreon in Evolving Skies, the beautiful Giratina art from Lost Origin, the Blaziken VMAX, which is a sweet looking card from Chilling Reign, the Rainbow Rare Pikachu, you just know that's going to be the chase. Charizard special illustration rare from Obsidian Flames that's just come out. You can go, yep, chase, chase, chase. You can almost go from the get-go when you're looking at a set, that's going to be your most expensive, that's going to be the second most expensive, that's going to be the third most expensive, fourth most expensive. Paradox Rift has me a little stumped. What is the main chase from this set? And like, that's a good question, because from an investability standpoint, you need some strong chase cards generally for it to go up in value considerably. But then again, I thought, well, you know, you don't always, because look at this, right? I'll bring up a picture of Cosmic Eclipse, top 10 or 12 or however many cards, but they're top hits from the set. When this set first came out, I can remember thinking to myself, what's the main chase? There's no Mewtwo, there's no Charizard, there's no Umbreon. There's a sweet trainer gallery, like that's good, like there's lots of depth to it, but where's the big hitting chase card coming from? I remember thinking that when that set came out. Now look, the print runs for these two sets could be vastly different, as in, we all know Cosmic Eclipse, people keep saying it got short printed. It didn't really, it just didn't cop a strong reprint. There's still Cosmic Eclipse products rolling out, like that Arceus V box from the collection figure box from end of last year. Like there's still some Cosmic Eclipse hanging around, for lack of a better word, but it didn't get that big reprint that everyone thought was coming for it at the start of the Sword and Shield era, much like Astral Radiance hasn't got yet. But anyway, like there could be different, severely different print runs between Cosmic Eclipse and Paradox Rift. Like Paradox Rift could get printed to oblivion, then reprinted, and then reprinted again. And all of a sudden it's going to be a battle. But what I'm getting at with the correlation to Cosmic Eclipse is, when that first came out, I was like, where's the chase card? But I could also see there's a lot of depth to this set. Like, I can't see a $1,000 chase card straight out of the gate or a $500 chase card straight out of the gate. But I could see heaps of depth, like 30 to 40 cool cards to pick up. And I almost see something similar in Paradox Rift. I go, well, where's the big chase card coming from? Is it going to be the special illustration trainer in Mila or Tulip? Is it going to be the Roaring Moon EX? Is it going to be the Garchomp special illustration rare? And you go, well, I don't really know. And then you look at Cosmic Eclipse and you go, well, the Vileplume GX from Cosmic Eclipse is $50 raw. So go figure, hey? Where does that leave us exactly? My point, I guess the point I'm trying to get to is, if this doesn't get printed to oblivion, there's a heap of depth that I can see to the set. I really like the look of the set. Much like Paldea Evolve, there's just a lot of depth to it. There's no, and same with Paldea Evolve, there's no big hitting chase card. There's no $500 chase card raw. There's no Moonbryon in it. But there's depth, and depth helps. Like, look at Vivid Voltage. There's one chase card. Look at Darkness Ablaze. There's one chase card. I know they got printed to oblivion, but you could argue they have been the worst performing sets from an investability standpoint in the whole Sword and Shield era. Because you know what? They've been out for over 3 years and they haven't really moved much. They've maybe gone up 30%, 35% absolute max. Like, what's the Darkness Ablaze or Vivid Voltage box cost? 130, 140? And 90 to 100 wholesale. So yes, they've moved, what, 35% in over 3 years? If you look at a lot of Pokemon investments, that's not a great movement, really, in the grand scheme of things, compared to something like, of course, if you compare it to Evolving Skies or something similar. So, investment, Paradox Rift. It'd be naive to stand here and go, well, I know exactly what's going to happen to Paradox Rift. You know, it'll come out at $100 a box, and you'll be able to pick it up to $90 because it'll dip. If it gets reprinted 3 times, it'll stay at $120 for the next 3 years. If it only gets a short reprint, then it'll go straight to $200 in 3 years. Like, almost general rule of thumb, but I'd be naive to say that. So that's not the statement I'm going to make. What I'm going to make is there's lots of depth to that set, and it somewhat reminds me of a set like Cosmic Eclipse. You don't have your standard run-of-the-mill chase cards that come out and people go, yep, I'll pay $400 for that straight off the bat. Like Charizard Special Illustration Rare from Obsidian Flames, it's just come out and now is absolutely tanked down to the bottom. So I like the set. I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to be the top 10 cards from the set. It reminds me a lot of Paldea Evolve. I love the illustration rares and I love the special illustration rares. I think what they're doing is really growing on me. I was hung up on alternate arts for such a long time, but I really like what they're doing here with the artwork. They're showcasing a lot of new Pokemon off. The boxes look cool. From a ripping standpoint, I imagine pull rates will be, you know, what they've been for the rest of Scarlet and Violet, like your Paldea Evolve and Scarlet and Violet base, you know, anywhere from 14 to 16 sort of hits throughout a booster box, that 40 to 45% pull rate. So I imagine it'll be the same. I look forward to the set. I look forward to opening some, and I look forward to getting some sealed. Again, leave me a comment down below. What are your thoughts around the newest English Pokemon card set? I'm Michael, this is PokeOz. Catch everyone next time.